Time for another weird old comic review. This time we're going to have a look at an old Amazing Spider-Man from the 60s. Yeah, hope you enjoy it. Let's have a look. This is Spidey 87. Now it's a little beat up. I've got a better copy in my collection. I'm just using this. It's just a reader's copy. You can see there's a bookmark stamp there. It's not really well kept, but it'll do for the purposes of this. This is the, if you only read one mag this month, it must be this one from Marvel. Yeah, Peter decides to tell his nearest and dearest that he's really Spider-Man. So we start off with him in a kind of not a great state. He's been getting weaker and weaker, and he thinks he's losing his powers, and he thinks it might be the radiation from the spider that bit him in the first place. Yeah, so he's not in a great state here. So after a bit of deliberation, he decides that it might mean the end of Spider-Man altogether. He's kind of losing his powers and falling over and stuff. Yeah, there's some classic Romita work here. So he reckons that he's got to give up on Spider-Man because he's going to lose his powers. Yeah, look at that old bit. So it's Gwen's birthday, but Peter's obviously not arrived, so the gang's all here. He doesn't make an appearance. Yeah, Gwen tries to be the party animal as usual, even though she's upset Pete's not there. So by the time everybody's left, yeah, Peter shows up. Some more classic Romita splash type art, yeah. And of course he says that Spider-Man's finished, and he can vouch for that because he is Spider-Man. It's a great panel. So after Pete runs off, still feeling terrible, yeah, the gang reflect back to an old Amazing Spider-Man 12, yeah, where Dr. Octopus actually unmasked Peter as Spider-Man, but then they rationalised that Peter was only doing this to get photographs for the Daily Bugle, and there's no way that he could be Spider-Man. So they reckon that he's probably not just feeling all that great, or there's something wrong with him. So he ends up going to the doctors, as you would, and he gets the doctor to check him out. It turns out that he's got the flu. Yeah, I know. Mind you, the worst case flu that this doctor's seen in years, yeah. So the doctor says, you must have the constitution of a horse, and he's recovered, and he's back to his old web-swinging ways, but then he realises he just told everybody who he was. So that's a problem. Well, it was back in the day. Nowadays, they all seem to know who everybody else is, yeah. So what he does, he masks himself up, and he takes his costume, and he finds his old friend Hobie. I think that was Joe Robertson's son from the Daily Bugle, and he used to be the Prowler. And he makes a deal with Hobie. So he goes back to the Stacys, and of course Gwen and Mary Jane and Norman and Kip Stacy are all still there for some unknown reason. And then of course Spider-Man appears, but it ain't Spider-Man at all. So he uses that line, I just want to thank Parker for bringing me my costume. Pete goes along with the game. It's the old switcheroo, you see. And then of course we have Hobie. There we go, in Spider-Man's costume. Yeah, he doesn't seem to twig neither what's going on. So then of course everything's all right, and Pete and Gwen make up. Things finally worked out okay for a change, yeah. And all's good. Weird issue when you think about it. Nothing all that much happens, just Peter puts his foot in it and causes himself all kinds of problems as usual. So there you go, Spider-Man 87, 1970 I think it was. I thought it was just late 60s, but let me just check that out. Here we go, 1970. So, hope you enjoyed. Bye.